Innovative content. Global audience.
Wednesday here in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. We're reaching you live from our SRO TV studio here in Abuja. This is Wake Up Nigeria, and my name is Princess KESSY. I have with me today
Patience, of course.
How was your night, Patience?
It is fine. It's another day.
Yes, another beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have a lot of trending stories today. I thought this audio leaks is over. It's far, as I can see, it's far from over. What we're seeing, what has been trending is far from over. And then we have a lot of other issues as well. Tribunal, INEC versus PDP and Labour Party. A lot of issues trending. And then also, I saw a news yesterday that I loved. That a lot of Nigerians that were stranded in Libya, Chad, other countries were brought home yesterday. That is a very good news. Sometimes also, I know that it's the quest for greener pastures that will make them want to take this kind of risk. But if it's not working for them there, they are going through more stress than they were going through here in Nigeria. They should come back home. There is no place like your land or your home. And then we'll move on quickly this morning now to the newspaper reviews. Just before we go into that, I'm going to be bringing in a guest on the show today, financial expert, to tell us some of the issues trending as regarding the Naira crunch policy, the Naira swap policy, and the Naira crunch as well. But before then, we'll move quickly now to the reviews, and these are some of the stories that makes the headlines this morning. We have here the Punch. Tinubu won presidential poll, INEC tells Tribunal, and the writer says President-elect claimed 1/4 of valid votes cast in 29 states electoral umpire. Losing FCT, IRAV hiccups can't invalidate APC's victory, says INEC. Now, all those stories are on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. And then we'll have a story here that says, has leadership pro G5 reps plot to scuffle PDP plans. That story also is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says National Assembly proposes jail term for Ponzi scheme promoters. That story is on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. A story here as well that say APCON bars Arik Air founder from airlines promises. That story is on page 27 of the Punch newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says 256 stranded Nigerians rescued from Libya, Chad. That story is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. We also have a story here that says Rose Vivo Jado asks Tribunal to sack Sonwolu. That story is on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. We have a story here as well that says assault, police to begin trial of 3 Rivers Kano cops. That story is on page 13 of the Punch newspaper. And the last story here says mob beats OAU student to death over stolen phone. That story is on page 4 of the Punch newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have this morning on the Punch newspaper. There's a story here that caught my attention as well. I already talked about the stranded Nigerians rescued from Libya and Chad. And then I saw a story here now that says mob beats OAU student to death over stolen phone. I remember you talked about the jungle justice thing yesterday on the show as well. I don't know when that is going to stop.
I think people need to stop taking laws into their hands. Why not just hand the person over to the police? That would be much better.
Even though we know stealing is bad, but I don't think a phone is worth somebody's life, no matter how much the cost of the phone. So it's the same thing now. The guy that was killed, that was lynched to death in Ondo some days ago, is the same thing we were saying. No matter what happened, probably he was drunk, he was carried away, but sometimes just allow the law as well to do what you're supposed to do. And then we have another story here. Yes, Tinubu won presidential poll. INEC tells Tribunal.
They should just allow judicials to do their work.
Yes,
coming out to defend themselves.
it's in fact at this point. But anyways, we know that issues like this would definitely come. But I like this story here that say National Assembly proposes jail term for Ponzi scheme promoters. Now this is a very good one. Do you know why? A lot of Nigerians have been duped. Even though I know their greed for money also it's something else.
Yeah.
Because I don't see reason why somebody would tell me bring 1 million naira and the next 2 weeks you come and have 3 million or 2 million. It doesn't work that way.
Yes.
It's not money. I don't think money usually comes easy that way. So if a lot of people, although we know that now a lot of people, because they've gone through this kind of issues now, they are not, you can't easily sway Nigerians to bring money and then come and do one Ponzi scheme like that. But it's a good one. At least this will help Nigerians to focus, to channel their resources on right things they should do, not just putting money somewhere and the next day you're expecting to get so much money. Yes, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we'll have.
And so from the Guardian newspaper this morning, the major news here says doctors demand salary review before May 29. The writer says UK counterparts begin strike over pay. NAD wants payment of review 2023 medical residency training fund. Admonishes rep to obnoxious bill sponsored by Johnson. And so we also have to summon NEC meeting in 2 weeks on next line of action. You find the story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says Sports Minister under fire, over 21 billion naira request to fix National Stadium. You find that story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says burden of proof, much ado about Tinubu's asset declaration. You find that story on page 4 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says IMF retains Nigeria economic growth projection at 3.2% as global inflation decelerates. And then finally this morning we have a story that says allow APC choose National Assembly leadership, Wike tells opposition. You find that story on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. So those are the news making waves on the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Well, I saw a story here, Pat. I don't understand. Sport Minister under fire under 21 billion request. What is he doing with 21 billion?
I
really don't call the money. I don't get it.
The way it feels like, okay, 21 billion naira. Where is it coming from? I saw it this morning over National Stadium. I remember when the National Stadium was actually destroyed because due to anger, I think they warned us. They came to our home and they warned us. And
the last one they had and they were crisis. I remember that day. That was during the last Salah or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around that. But then 21 billion naira.
Emily, it's too much. If you ask me, it's too much. I don't know what. I thank God is already under fire anyway, so I don't think he's going to get that money easily. But I don't know what he's supposed to be doing with 21. Not like the place was totally destroyed. The place is still, the structure is still there standing. So what are we doing with 21 billion? Nigerians, politicians, ministers, and office holders, please, this is too much.
Well, I think I also like the story that says doctors demand salary review before May 29. And considering the bill that had been put in place, I think they really need to look.
No, if you want them, is what I was saying the other day, Pat. If you want these people to stay back here with you for a period of time, then you have to meet their demands as well. Nobody will want to work. You know, doctors, they are not like us that, okay, maybe when you get home, you shut down your phone, you sleep. Emergency can come on 2 a.m. They call them and they're on the way, they're on the road. So these people should be taken care of as well. So if you're saying they should stay back at home, then you also do something that will make them want to stay back at home. It's simple. Okay, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have this morning, and that is the Daily Trust. And these are some of the stories making waves this morning. We have here leaked audio. FG, FCF, others blast Obi. Clear yourself, Ohaneze challenges LP candidates. It is a plot to divert attention from Obi's petition, Afenifere leader Arewa elders warn ALP candidates against unguarded utterances. Now, all those stories can be found on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And then we'll have a story here that says Reps finger Malami Hamid others in $2.4 billion oil revenue scam. That story is on page 8 of the Daily Trust newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says IMF urges CBN to continue raising interest rates. That story is on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We'll have a story here that says Jahis Bank increased gross profits by 2.3 billion naira in 2022. That story is on page 19 of the Daily Trust newspaper. 10th Assembly Speaker, why Wase is the best choice. That story is on page 8 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories we have this morning making waves on the Daily Trust newspaper. And then there's a story here, like I said earlier, this leaked audio. I thought the saga was far from over.
I also thought so, but I like the writer says, I think they are trying to attest his petition.
Okay, so you too, you have the opinion they are trying to divert his attention from the tribunal and all that.
That's what I think. I think so, because I feel, okay, let's see. Actually, that
there was
video,
an
audio actually.
And, yes.
But everybody have the right to see whatever they want to see. Freedom of speech,
of course.
So why?
But do we really have that in Nigeria? That's another question we should ask ourselves, because we know that, especially when it comes to politics, when it comes to the media, the press, I don't think there's nothing as such as freedom of speech in the country. Because we live in a country where you publish something, you say something, and the next thing the government is after you, they're coming for you. You don't have.
Then I don't think you should be dragging that audio something as this far. After the whole election, the whole saga, the whole election, I think the whole case is already in court. So why are they dragging the audio link? Now, federal government, they're also asking for him to clear himself. Clear himself about what?
We don't know. We see how that plays out. And then there's a story here that says Reps finger Malami Ahmed others in $2.4 billion oil revenue scam. Now that is a lot of money, a whole lot of money. I don't know what politicians are into, but whatever it is.
And it's that oil revenue scam.
Yes.
Wow.
Anyways, we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
This Day newspaper, coming from the This Day newspaper this morning, the major news here says INEC, no act of infraction substantial enough to nullify 2023 presidential poll. I'll take that again. INEC, no act of infraction substantial enough to nullify 2023 presidential poll. And then the writer here says, argues some constitutional provisions apply to states. FCT on 25% in 24 states. Insists Tinubu won. Article contained that election petition puts judiciary on trial. APC tribunal lacks necessary jurisdiction. APC tribunal lacks necessary jurisdiction to entertain petition on Tinubu's qualification. Obi has no local standing. We also have a story here that says Chimamanda Buhari, INEC blew last chance to emerge Nigeria's heroes. And she also said, insists her critiques deflecting focus on pertinent issues, deploying ethnicity. Says she respects Soyinka, but disagree with him on 2023 poll. Those are what Chimamanda had to say. We also have a story here that says, maintain tight monetary policy to check inflation. IMF tells CBN. We also have a story here from This Day newspaper. Buhari, Atiku, Ohanaeze mourn as ex-Anambra governor. Badinuji dies at 78. We also have a story here that says World Medical Association attacks lawmaker over bill restricting doctors to Nigeria. And finally, on this day newspaper, we have Buhari in Saudi Arabia. These are the news making waves this morning.
So there's a story here that caught my attention. Chimamanda Buhari, INEC blew last chance to emerge Nigerians' heroes. And then we also have sister critiques deflecting focus on pertinent issues, deploying ethnicity, says she respects Soyinka but disagrees with him on 2023 polls. I don't feel like because people are your role model. I have role models, of course. We have people we look up to, but then sometimes we should have our differences as well. Now, it doesn't mean because I look up to you, I want to be you, or I want to be. Yes, I must. Yes, we must be on the same page all the time. People should be able to have their own differences. And then there's a story here as well that caught my attention. World Medical Association attacks lawmakers over bill restricting doctors to Nigeria. Now, this issue is a very serious one.
I think the doctors are not in agreement with that bill. Most of them are of the opinion that the government did not train them to school. So why limit them?
That is why on my show tomorrow, I really want to talk and learn. That's why we're supposed to have a doctor here, but because I'm having the health show tomorrow, we're going to have a doctor to really...
We really need to have a doctor.
Yes, because me also, I feel like you can't tell me what to do with my life. It is my life. You didn't send me to school as well. So you don't tell me I have freedom to of a movement, migration. People can migrate from one place to another. So you're not supposed to tie somebody down somewhere that they must be here for a period of time just to do what. And you that is even bringing the law. You have headache and you jet off. So what's the need of this law? Are they going to stay back here? They don't even have hope or trust in these doctors we have here. They believe so much in the ones abroad. So why are they asking them to stay here? So I'm going to move on quickly to the next newspaper we have. But before then, we'll go on a quick break. And when we return, we'll continue with the reviews. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate for huge extra opportunity in diaspora. Look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you, as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation prizes for second and third place winners. To register, kindly pay the registration fee and send your name, age, picture, and state of origin to this number. 0906-895-2170.
How many seconds do you have left?
Please call 0907-400-7816. Powered by SRTV London. The face of SRTV. Who takes the crown?
Welcome back, viewers. If you've just joined us, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and we've been on the newspaper review. And now I'll continue with the Nation newspaper, and these are some of the stories that made the headlines. Atiku didn't meet conditions to win, INEC tells tribunal, and the rider says commission replies PDP candidates petition. FCT has no special status. Obi's petition should be dismissed. Now, all the stories on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. We also have a story here that say 104 stranded Nigerians back from Libya. That story is on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. As well, we'll have another story here that says World Bank predicts global high unemployment, inflation, slow growth. That story is on page 4 as well of the Nation newspaper. We have a story here that says PDP can't hijack National Assembly leadership. That story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. We have a story here as well that say Nigeria may lose $23 billion to crude theft this year, say speakers warns. Nigeria may lose $23 billion to crude theft this year, speaker warns. That story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. We have another story here that says Amechi fired me from NPA over contract dispute. That story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. We have another story here that says APC holds primaries in Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi weekend. That story is on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Ondo promises justice for slay Yahoo boy. That story is on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. Osun teenage girl trafficker held. That story is on page 23 of the Nation newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Akpabio remains in Senate President race. That story is on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. We have another story here that says Lagos Assembly stops government appointees on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Now, these are the stories that we have here on the Nation newspaper this morning. And I am seeing a story here that says Ondo promises justice for slay Yahoo boy. We saw that headline yesterday, and we also talked about the jungle justice being meted on people. Now, one thing I want to say is that somebody commits a crime. Now, if you kill the person, it will not bring back the dead. Like what they did to this Yahoo boy now. It was an accident.
It was an accident.
So probably he was carried away, he was drunk. Making cause or whatever
they
it is.
didn't give him the chance to. They just carried out.
It's really sad, and now we have he's gone. Those ones died as well. So his death also will not bring back the people that the dead. Yes. So I think we should. This jungle justice thing is another thing we need to have a review on. And as well, we have a story here that says Osun teenage girls trafficker held. That is a very, very good one. Because they will just come and deceive these small girls or deceive their parents. I'm taking her for school. I'm going to put her in a trade, in one business or the other, and then, taking them to do a lot of horrible things. And so that's a good one. We also have a story here that says 104 stranded Nigerians back from Libya. A very good move as well. It's better they stay here. It will not be as bad as it is there, because this is your country. You get to learn a lot of things. Of course, it's your home, so you're free, unlike other countries. And there's a major story here. World Bank predicts global high unemployment, inflation, slow growth. This is a very serious one. We saw that unemployment yesterday, 41%. Right, yes. So I think the government really needs to do something. Like we always urge the youth, you can be you can be on your own. You don't need to wait for a right. We keep saying this. Do something. Learn a trade, get a skill, or just start something, no matter how little. That will also help you as a person and help people around you as well. And then we'll move on quickly this morning to the next newspaper we have.
Coming from the Blueprint newspaper this morning, the major news here says APC at election tribunal will be not validly sponsored, can't challenge Tinubu's mandate. And then the writer here says LP candidate was PDP member at point of sponsorship, and then explains Asiwaju forfeiture of $460,000 in US. And then we also have provide clarification on leaked audio conversation. Federal government tells OB And then we also have a story, electronic transmission of results not compulsory, INEC. You find that story on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says Nigeria unemployment rate to hit 41% in 2023, says KPMG. So we have a story here that says NACON warns state pilgrim board against arbitrary Hajj fare. NACON warns state pilgrim board against arbitrary Hajj fare. We also have a story here from the Blueprint newspaper this morning. 130 killed by suspected raiders in Benue in 10 days. Autumn. The rider here says troops kill 2 bandits. Bandit leader in Kaduna. Troop kills 2 bandit leaders in Kaduna. You find that story on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have a story here that says ex-Anambra governor Badinuji dies at 78. And then we also have a story from the Blueprint newspaper that says Delta governorship, Gbagi wants Obore, Omo Agege, others disqualified. You find that story on page 16 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. And then we have a story that says, why Dino Milai can't be Kogi governor, says Wike. You find that story on page 9 of the Blueprint newspaper. We have a story also that says $1.2 billion crude sales. Rex summon AGF finance minister. And then coming from the Blueprint newspaper this morning, Easter message, cooker opinions colored by politics, says presidency. You find the story on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. Those are the stories making waves from the Blueprint newspaper this morning. I thought I was going to read through this newspaper and not see a case of people killed, because so far we've been coming, I was just observing. I've not read a case of kill, but unfortunately I just read 130
I think the way Benue is going, I fear for Benue, for Kaduna and Niger State. The way Benue is going, it will get to a stage, you will just go that, we don't pray it gets to a stage where you just go to that state and then there's no single human being standing or in the states. Because in 10 days, 130 killed. So how many people are left? It's really sad. Like, this is sad when I see this news. And then I saw on this story as well that says Nigeria's unemployment rate will hit 41%. Now, attributes similar to slower than required economic growth. Now, that is the rider. You see that a lot of things are not working in Nigeria. So I don't know why they're saying things are working. Even this policy now, this is a narrow swap. You see that, thank God we will have an analyst, a guest expert that will deliberate on these issues. It's really sad that at this stage, 2023, we are here. And then now it's not affecting
where we should be growing.
And yes, we are not. In fact, it's sad. It's sad. And then, like it boils down to what I said earlier. This Easter message, look at opinions colored by politics. We said it already. No freedom of information. Once you say something that is not in their favor, the next thing they tag it as you being biased. And funny enough, even one of his messages during Easter, he prayed for the president. He said a lot of good things, but they have forgotten those ones now. They don't want him or anyone to criticize them. But you forgot also that they are forgetting also that you cannot be in power without criticism. Because if they don't criticize you, that's the only way people check you. You checkmate yourself. So these things are you're prone to these things. And then I saw a story here. This is from my state, so it actually caught my attention. Delta governorship. Gbagi wants Oborevori, Omo Agege, others disqualified. If you ask me, we're very funny. How come Gbagi wants this election or these people to be disqualified? What was the results? Let's even start from there. How many people voted for Gbagi? Well, I'll leave that for Deltans to decide. And then we have also here Wike saying Dino. Why Dino can't
be governor?
Wike and his cohorts. I don't see a difference between him and Dino. They are the same. Like yesterday it was fireworks on
I was just listening. I was like, okay, this is
it was fireworks yesterday. In fact, if you see the way Dino was dragging Wike yesterday, and I feel like Wike will definitely reply in due time. Wike cannot back out. He doesn't back out as well. So we see more of that battle. And then we move on quickly to the next newspaper we have here with us, and as the last as well. And this is sports. We're talking about Sport Punch, Sport Extra, and these are some of the stories that makes the headlines this morning. Falcons fly again, beats World Cup co-hosts. New Zealand 3-0 in exhibition tourney in Turkey. France's performance best under Radram. That story is on page 7 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. And as well, we have a story here that says blue skin on permanent Felix deal. That story is on page 4 of the Punch Sports Extra. And we also have another story here that says Arsenal's open to Balogun sale. That story is on page 6 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. We also have United to offload 13 players. That story is on page 3 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. We also have a story here that says Messi waiting for Barca offer. That story is on page 2 of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. We also have a story here that says AC Milan versus Napoli. Osimhen ruled out of Milan clash. That story is on page 3 of the Punch Sport Extra this morning. These are some of the stories we have here this morning on the Punch. You might just want to get a copy to see more of the details.
Kudos to
Falcons, right? Yes, they're making us proud.
Yeah.
Yes, they are really doing well, and we are happy for them as well. We say congratulations to us. And then we'll go on a quick break. And when we return, don't go anywhere. We'll come back with our guest, our financial experts. Stay with us.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of art, national cash crops, financial product and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15th to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best of Nigeria from the rest.
Hello viewers, you're welcome back. Like I promised on the show that I was going to come back with an expert to discuss some of these issues bordering on us when it comes to economy and of course financial issues. I have with me on the line Mr. Mujaga Abori Ogberu this morning, a financial expert. How are you this morning, Mr. Moody? Good morning, sir. Hello, can you hear us, sir? Hello. Yes, Mr. Moody, can you hear us? Yes,
I can hear you.
You're welcome. Yes, I can. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Okay.
How are you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Also, on a quick one before we go on. There is this story here that is really trending this morning, so we'll start from that one before we go on to other questions this morning. Now, there is this report that from World Bank that unemployment rate has hit 45%. 41% to be precise. Now, what's your take on this? What do you think we can do as a people?
Unemployment rate going up is due to stick on production. Okay. Usually, unemployment goes up when we are so dependent on other factors of production. Okay. But if we go straight into production and focus on it, then unemployment rate will drastically go down. There are a lot of sectors that require production. The agricultural sector requires production. There are a lot of wastage there. If these are addressed, then
we can curb that. Yes, then we can curb unemployment as well, right? And now there's a slow growth as well. We have slow growth, inflation, and all that. Now, Mr. Moody, we are going to ask you now. When we go to, what do you think about the Naira swap policy of the federal government?
All right. The Naira swap policy, to me, it's a very nice and wonderful
policy
idea.
Okay.
Yes, it's a nice policy. It's a very great idea. But we have the provisions for it are not sufficient. They are not okay. And because of that, it causes a lot of sufferings and uncertainty to the people who are supposed to be served or who are supposed to benefit from it.
Okay.
On my own take, it's supposed to be a good idea. It's just the provisions that are put on ground to make the people, to alleviate the people's suffering that are not sufficient.
So what do you think are the disadvantages and of course advantages of this policy moving forward?
All right, for the Naira swap policy, we had about 3 trillion that we were trying to manage in the flow of the economy, cash process. But the provisions made, the availability of other denominations or new notes were not enough. If we are to, for instance, now we have chosen December as the new deadline. If by December we do not have sufficient cash to stand for or to cover for the cash that's being withdrawn from the system, this gap will come up again. And instead of us having progress, we'll be going back.
Progressing.
We were not supposed to go back. We are supposed to be prepared for it, fully prepared, and then to be able to cope these challenges.
But that's I feel, in my opinion, that only explains one thing. That means the federal government as well they were not prepared for this policy, because we saw the torment, the hardship Nigerians went through, and some of them are still going through. Don't forget also that up to now, a lot of people are not able to have access to cash the way they really want to. So I'm thinking also that maybe, like you said, the policy might be right, but the timing is wrong.
Timing is really not good. The timing is really not good.
Okay, that brings me down to the next question. The Naira redesign by the Apex Bank was viewed by some Nigeria as being targeted at some individuals. What's your take on that, sir?
Okay, I won't say it's targeted on some individuals, because let's look at the general scope of the Naira swap.
Okay.
All right. Taking it literally for what they said it was for security reasons, kidnapping, and some other...
And vote buying as well. Vote buying.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So now, vote buying. Actually, if we want to look at it from that aspect, was it really the votes that were needed to be bought, or it was a specific or strategic officers that needed to be bought? Because at a point in Nigeria, there are some certain things that are not in vogue. For this time of politics, buying individual votes doesn't really count. Rather than buying 1 or 2 votes, why not buy the person who can influence the the number of votes, or for whatever reason you want to buy votes. You understand what I mean?
I understand exactly.
Yes. You rather buy the influencer than buy the
individuals on the streets.
Yes, and the highest bidder is the person that wins that. So actually, if we are saying that it was the Naira swap was to cop that, that wasn't really going to make much sense. It wasn't really going to address much issues.
So you feel like it wasn't targeted at individuals?
When two giants are fighting, it's just the grass that
suffers. That's right.
Because it doesn't really affect them. Okay, do you want to tell me that most of the politicians that needed cash didn't get the cash they needed?
They did, of course. They even before the elections, a lot of them had money. You could see their wives, their children throwing monies on the air.
But social media. We only get to see more of the old cash. We don't get to see the redesigned cash more. So
exactly. And apart from the redesigned cash, people who needed cash were dealing in foreign currencies. There are loopholes to a lot of all these things, and people who have the means, they subscribe to those means. They subscribe to those options. You go for dollars and you settle what you need in dollar or pounds or euro, and your problem is solved. While the common Nigeria is buying Naira at exorbitant price for 50% of the value. So while we are trying to arrive at a point, there are a lot of factors that should be considered. Really a lot of factors that should be considered. If we want,
such as
yes, we are considering vote buying, which is in a way kind of money laundering and corruption. If we are trying to tackle corruption and money laundering, you are supposed to put all your controls in place. Your EFCC, your financial intelligence unit, NFIU, and all that. Everybody should be up and doing, and they should be ready to act, not having sacred cows and then punishing the general citizen for things that doesn't really concern them. You know, if everybody is sitting up and we are addressing the issues as they should be, then the real effects of the swap will be felt in the society, and it will be flooded. Well, as you and I can see and testify, the loopholes that are obvious.
We're just too obvious. That is true.
It becomes an encouraging factor at the end of the day.
Okay, as a financial expert, how do you think this cashless policy would help Nigeria economy now moving forward? Let's look beyond today.
All right. I've not spoken about advantages of cashless policy.
Yes.
Actually, the cashless policy helps us to go electronic on everything we are doing.
But hold on, Mr. Moody. Is that even obtainable in a country like ours, where you have a lot of network issues? You have a lot of people who don't have access to bank apps and all that, because we have the rural areas as well. The people living there, the farmers. How do we progress?
Making provisions, making adequate provisions. You know, when there is a roll-up of any new scheme, you are supposed to consider a lot of things and make adequate provisions. Your network structure, all the players that are supposed to come on board, they are supposed to be on the drawing table, and they are supposed to give their quota 100%, and so that people in these rural areas will not be suffering unnecessarily. We have the unbanked. We know. You know, during this implementation, this let's say January or whenever it started to few days after the election, people who buy nuts from hinterland, they were finding it difficult.
That is true.
People who needed to buy cows from from the
Northerners, yes.
the really that were down in the bush, they were suffering because the headsman does not understand what a bank account is. We don't have POS operations for headsmen, or those people selling nuts deep down in the villages, or even in some riverine areas where you needed to deal on fish, fresh fish.
Hello, Mr. Mudiaga, are you there? Okay, we have a little bit of network issues, but hopefully we're going to have him. Okay. Hello, can you hear us? Hello, sir, are you there? Okay, a lot of... Yes, sir. Yes, we can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
So yes, but like what he was saying, it is true, because when we say, it's the thing we keep saying when it comes to Nigerians and policies. You bring policies like these doctors, this bill now we're still talking about. Are you ready for them to stay back home? Will you be able to meet up to their welfare needs, to the salaries without issues? And now these are some of the issues. When they started this Naira swap policy, you don't expect farmers. A lot of these people, like we said, they are bank. They don't know what bank is, the app and all that. How do you expect these people to cope?
So I feel they bring policy in their favor at a particular time. Though he had said the policy of the Naira redesign is not in favor of some persons, like he said earlier, according to our guest. But I feel governments they're always thinking about themselves, and then they bring up policy that...
Okay, we have Mr. Mudiaga back with us. Welcome back, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
So you were talking about the advantages, of course, and disadvantages of these. How would this improve our economy? Oh, it's not.
This will not be a problem.
Okay.
There are a lot of failed transactions. Let's call it a test, or a trial period. There are a lot of failed transactions. People were stranded. The queues in the filling station during the test transaction wasn't as a result of scarcity of fuel. It was as a result of failed transactions. People didn't have cash to go to the stations. And when you're at the station, your POS transactions are failing, your transfer transactions are failing. At the supermarkets, a lot of queues were growing because transfers were failing. POS machines were not working. What are the necessary things to put in place? Even when we talk about these rural areas, what are the concessions for people in these areas? How do you track them? How strong is your database to be able to incorporate all these things? These are the things that people should be, let me not say people, these are the things that the body, the CBN should put in place, should put in check to ensure that there is a seamless, cashless policy on ground. But actually, if these things are on ground, there will be trail of transactions. And so it will be easy to discourage money laundering and corruption and all those other vices.
Okay.
And if the cashless policy is in full scale and working perfectly, there will be reduced minting cost. The figures for
because they spend so much money on printing these notes.
Yes, and we will not have need for so much cash in circulation. Instead, they will be moving electronically, and so that cost will be reduced drastically. Okay. And then, just like we noticed during the COVID period, because there was more electronic banking and transactions, people ordered for most of their things online and all that, meaning they made more payments for their transactions electronically. It means there will be increased profitability in financial systems and financial servicing institutions, because whether we like it or not, it's even cheaper. If I have to go to the bank with between 500 and 600 naira to get the transaction done, and I pay the bank 50 to 100 naira to get the transaction done, it's cheaper for me. And by economy of scale, if everybody is contributing 50 naira or 100 naira or even 30 naira or 10 or 20 naira to a bank, definitely their profitability will increase. And then yes, all these platforms that are offering electronic service, they will also have increased profitability.
Okay, sir.
The trading stores like Jumia, I'm not supposed, I think being
an expert,
a broadcaster, I'm not supposed to call
yes,
right.
Right.
All these people stand the chance of having increased income. And when there is increased income, the return of capital, that's the value that these profiting organizations and firms have to put back into their industry, will be increased. For instance, if I make 100 million as my income, as my profit, and my policy is to return 10% of that value into my business, then definitely there will be a growth in my business, because
that is right.
10% of 100 million as against 10% of 10 million, maybe what I made last year, will be quite a huge chunk of value to put into my investment. And that will encourage me to employ more people or more experts to drive my business.
We were going through the headlines yesterday, and we got this news that says World Bank to advocate debt restructuring for developing countries. As a financial expert, what's your opinion on this, sir?
All right. Usually, debt restructuring gives room for those who are in debt more opportunity, or a more flexible opportunity to repay
back
their debt.
Okay.
And in most cases, it's a waiver. There's usually a waiver. There's a waiver, and then the flexibility is increased. Now, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for World Bank to have proposed this, and we just hope that these opportunities will be used for the advantage they project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that would be of help to a country like us, because I know we are owing so much money.
Yeah, we are owing so much. If not for the diversion of funds and corruption, the return on investment for what these incurred debts would have made wouldn't have been a problem to the nation. But because of these attendant issues, corruption, diversion of funds, and misappropriation, we have this problem. And then we are just like making borrowing for what it's like we're borrowing for what we do not really need.
That is the way I see it as well.
Yeah, it's not like we don't need to borrow, but because of the application and the diversion and all that, it now makes the whole thing really not good and advantageous.
Okay, there is also World Bank. Also, yesterday we saw on the headline that says World Bank sees 2% output growth in 2023. What does this mean?
All right. I think in 2022 the output growth was 3%. 3%. And now World Bank is saying 2%. I think the actual figure is even 1.9%.
Wow.
So that's a decline. That's a decline. It's not good, but there is a hope that there will be an improvement by 2024. We are hoping that with the factors in place and with the SGD goals, that this will be achieved. We hope for the best.
Oh, that's right.
This decline, we hope for the best. Things can still turn around for better.
That is right.
So what's your take on the call for subsidy removal?
Okay, subsidy removal. In the first place, I was checking through the history of subsidy. In the first place, I didn't think that subsidies should have been implemented, but because the government felt they should cushion the shock from the hike in oil
prices.
oil price, they decided to step in. And at the end of the day, or not at the end of the day, somewhere along the line, the government noticed that they were biting more than they could chew. And that's why there is a sort of agitation now as to how the subsidy should be removed. But the real truth of the matter is that subsidy should be removed.
Don't you think for now that would be too much on the ordinary citizens? Because we are saying that for now, once it's removed, we might just be getting fuel, as of yesterday headline, we might just be getting fuel for as high as 750 naira per liter.
Yeah.
Yes, we will be getting fuel at 750 naira per liter, but we are just postponing the evil day if we don't remove it.
So not now that we don't have,
because right now we have a lot of economy meltdown already. We're talking about the cashless cash policy. We talk about no fuel. Even sometimes too, we know that there's fuel now, a little bit of fuel in town. Some people are still complaining in their states, no fuel and all that. And we're going to add this. Yes, we'll add this to it, sir. Don't you think that will be too much a weight for the ordinary Nigerian citizen?
Too much, but in the 70s, actually in 1977, when this subsidy was introduced, those were the same views that came into play. And it crept from 1977, from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s, and now we are talking about fuel. Well, proposing it's going to be 700. Now, next year, we don't know how much it will be.
Okay.
The subsidy just more like a cover-up. We are not having things at the actual price they should be, or we think that we are having things at the prices they should be at, but we are suffering in other places. Now, let's look at the policies being rolled in.
Okay.
2 years ago, our senators gathered and increased the tariff on soft drinks, right?
Yes, that's right.
They increased the tariff on soft drinks. What was their reason? They said they wanted to encourage Nigerians to be healthier. But to me, that was not the idea, because the people who go for soft drinks today still go for soft drinks, and they are more of the low-income earners, because the people who are your cleaners and your security staff, their breakfast or brunch for that day is coke and bread. So increasing the tariff on it doesn't really discourage Nigerians from going to soft drinks. However, if they had started diverting these tariffs they are putting there into the subsidy issue, I don't think Nigerians buying drinks for a lesser price and increasing their fuel listing over the years, from the first debate that Jonathan brought in that led into a civil action, if they had started implementing these in phases, by now this wouldn't have been a problem. And if we keep postponing the evil day, there will be a time even the country will not even have enough, they won't even have the funds at all to provide for the subsidy. And part of this debt we are incurring is for this subsidy, to be honest and candid.
Okay.
In 2016 or is it 2011 or 2016, there was no provision for subsidy. So how did the government make payment for subsidy? They went into debt, into borrowing, and we are continuing. Part of our borrowings is to the funds are being diverted into subsidy payment. And even the subsidy, who are the people? What's the process? Who are the people importing the oil? Is it the NNPC? Is it the government, or they are private individuals in these businesses? So we are using the funds of the populace to pay to pay few individuals.
That is true.
benefit of everybody. This is an attendant issue. I think it should be looked at critically, and even though it's going to be a burden on the people of Nigeria, but I think there was a proposal a few years back that these things can be done in phases.
Okay.
And I think if these things are done in the phases and in a way that will alleviate the sufferance of the people the people will embrace it.
All right, sir.
In ways that will make people happy that they embrace this policy of subsidy.
All right, sir. Like you said earlier, we keep hope alive, and we do hope sincerely that whatever policy they bring or they try to change, at the long run will be for the betterment of every Nigerian, not just for the interest of a few people. Well, I have been talking with Mr. Mujaga Abori Ogboru, a financial expert. Well, thank you so much, sir, for being on the show this morning. We appreciate your time. Thank you, sir. Do have a very lovely day.
Thank you, too. And you too. Have a great day.
Yes, that was Mr. Mujaga Abori Ogboru, financial expert.
He has said a lot.
He has said a lot. We've learned a lot as well. Because for me, I would say this subsidy they should not do, because me, I don't have to
encounter with that say
something that we understood, yes, for the betterment, not, or at least like this Naira policy, let's say that we cry now, but it's for the betterment of everybody. And so we do hope, like I said sincerely, that this will be for betterment of all as well, not some people or individuals. Well, that's a good place to wrap up the show today. We do this again tomorrow. But before then, while you are out there, we just want to tell you, stay safe and drive carefully and be at alert as well. And before we go, our Nigerian Week London, don't forget it's fast approaching. All you have to do is just get yourself a ticket and be part of it. It's going to be fun galore, music, film, entertainment, a lot of business opportunities as well. And don't forget that we in Nigeria, as people, we're colorful people. We're going there to tell the world how beautiful we are. Be part of it. And don't forget also to hit on our notification bell, share our content, like a page, and invite others as well to the page. Today. It's doing this with you this morning. And from this financial expert, I think I got to understand a lot of things. Seriously, apart from the cash, when I see money, I hold the money. I'm not really into anything economy, finances here and there, but I think from what he said, he has enlightened us, and we've understood some of these issues as well, like this issue of World Bank and restructuring loan, whatever. That was something. Yes, that was what he said. He told us something about it that is actually a good cause, and we do hope that it will benefit all, and we're able to pay back our debt also, so that they won't come and hold us the youth later. Anyways, you have yourself a very beautiful day while you are out there, and stay hydrated. I'll see you again tomorrow. I remain yours truly, Princess KESSY.
And I am Patience OKOSUN. Remember, peace is priceless.
And so let's give peace a chance. Bye.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian